who loves durians.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, well, I think just about 3 or 5 lah. So I will do a quick introduction, and then we'll
Okay.
start now. Okay, a very good afternoon to everyone, and happy Father's Day to all those who are celebrating, all the fathers who are attending this webinar. Well, as you know, we are doing organizing the Cataract and Video Festival at the end of this year. And the main purpose of this webinar is actually to prepare us to produce very good videos, hopefully, for the coming festival. Hopefully, today's webinar will stimulate interest and create awareness of the importance of video surgical recordings. Tips and pearls will be shared by the speakers and panelists in the production of good surgical videos during today's webinar. The speakers will also cover basic hardware requirements for recording videos, recording techniques, editing, and presentation of videos. And we are very fortunate to have two very good speakers and IT savvy and producers of very good surgical videos to share their experience with us. I think very briefly, some basic housekeeping rules. If you want to ask questions, please use the Q&A icon rather than a chat, because it is actually easier to see your questions and answer them. The other thing, if you would like to verbally ask the question, please raise the virtual hand and we will unmute you so that you will be able to ask questions. Questions will be, there will be a question session after the first speaker, Dr. Sarjbit Singh. And of course, there'll be a longer one and also a discussion session at the end of the two presentations. Now, I would like to briefly introduce the panelists. We have a Rose among the Lalang, of course, and Professor May Lin is one of the panelists. I'm sure she need no introduction for a lot of us. She's a vitreal retina surgeon and professor of ophthalmology in UKM. And she has been using surgical videos for training masters, trainees extensively. She has also organized a video symposium in the conjoint meeting in 2018, and her video was selected for presentation at the APA-CRS meeting in 2019 in Japan. She will also briefly talk about evaluation of surgical videos by judges, and therefore giving you tips on how to produce good quality videos and what the judges are actually looking for in a video competition. The next panelist is Dr. Lee Man Wai. Of course, he also need no introduction. He is a much sought after speaker in many webinars, both locally and internationally. He is a vitreal retina surgeon and also medical director of the Lee Eye Center in Ipoh, Malaysia. He's a chair of the Malaysian Society of Cataract and Refractive Surgeon, and he has been credited with many numerous scientific publications, and he is also course director at the APA-CRS meeting. Our next panelist is Dr. Benjamin Ho. He's an ophthalmic trainee at SGH. He is instrumental in the production of many great videos from the eye department of Sarawak General Hospital. And of course, he's the honorary IT consultant for all the boss meetings that we have been doing. And he is really very important to us to make sure that the meeting, the symposium runs smoothly and without any hitches. Next, I would like to introduce the speakers. The first speaker is Dr. Sarjbit Singh. He's the Chief Ophthalmic Surgeon and also the founding medical director of Dr. Shamsher Singh Eye Hospital in Punjab in India. He has produced many video presentations, both locally and internationally. And he has a Ophthalmology YouTube channel. For those of you who don't know Sarjbit, he has a very, very strong Malaysian connection. His wife, Sharon, is from Kuala Lumpur. And the second connection is he has spent 3 years in the early 1990s in Sarawak General Hospital in Kuching, and we share many great times together. And of course, the next speaker after him will be Dr. James Bond. He is, again, need no introduction. He is a cataract and refractive surgeon at Isaac KL. He is a multi-award winner of video presentations, both locally and internationally. And he is well known for his creativity and innovation. Without much further ado, I would like to invite Dr. Sarjbit Singh to present his talk. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Dennis. That was a very elaborate introduction. Thank you so much.
Welcome.
And yes, I had a lovely time in Kuching, the 3 years that I was in Kuching. I really had a great time. Can you guys see me?
Yes.
Okay, all right. Today, actually, I'll just emphasize one thing, that this is a basic 101 course on video recording, editing, and presenting. And those of you who are pros at it, please excuse us because we are going to touch only the basics, which I think are very important. The other day, Dr. Chan was telling me that not many people, especially in Malaysia, many ophthalmologists, I think it's true all over. Even in India, they are not recording their surgeries or their videos, which I think is quite important. So today, my aim is to familiarize those people who are not recording to the importance of recording surgical videos. Why do we do it, and how are they going to help us as ophthalmologists and otherwise. So that is the main idea. It is just an introductory, like a session. So that is what we are going to do. Secondly, before I start, I've got 2 or 3 videos which I had already actually sent over to Dr. Benjamin, so that in case of any trouble with the technology, we already have it there. So that is one thing we did. So he will play some of the videos for me, and I shall be giving my voice to those videos. Secondly, I must mention that some of the clips I have borrowed from Dr. M.S. Ravindra from Bangalore and Dr. Deepak Magur also he's from Bangalore, both good friends and great guys. And they have given me permission to use a bit of their clips, which I needed to share with the audience. So hopefully you all will get familiarized with the basics of all these things. I'll start with my presentation first, not with the video. Everything all right, Mr. Dennis and Benjamin?
Yeah.
So can you see the presentation?
Yes, yes.
Okay, so we will be talking about recording, editing, and presenting. All, as I said earlier, it is all the basics of it. First thing is, why do we want to record our surgeries? First, of course, we document everything else. Why not surgeries? We record our histories and all those things, and we should be doing documentation of surgeries as well. And then, of course, for medical legal purposes, we need to keep these video records in case of any issues. And then we need to present them in webinars like today, or we have to present them in academic conferences and meetings, and then for teaching. But I think the other day we agreed, Dr. Bond and others, that the most important reason is self-audit. That means we must watch our surgeries. Every surgery we must watch once or twice, because we are going to find a few things which we actually didn't notice during surgery. Especially when there is a complication, we will know what happened, where it happened, and why it happened. And if we can't figure it out, we can actually show it to one of our colleagues, and maybe he can find out what went wrong. So I think self-audit of your surgeries is very, very important, and you learn a lot. I think I've learned maximum from criticizing myself, in the sense that when I see surgeries, I said, oh, I could have done this way. That wasn't very clever. So I think self-audit is one of the most important reasons to improve ourselves as surgeons. Then when we record videos, we must keep in mind that they should be clear, they should be sharp, and they should be very well centered. Otherwise, we are not going to get much of information from them. Usually, whenever we show a good photograph, even not related to medicine or sunset or whatever, and of course videos, the first question they ask you is, what camera did you use? Actually, camera is a small part of the whole jing bang. So in this case, we have the microscope, we have the beam splitter, we have the adapter, and then we have the camera. And all these actually use lenses and glass, which has to be very good quality. If we have good quality microscope, good quality glass in the beam splitter, adapter, and then the camera can give you a good quality video. Otherwise, if the glass in other things like microscope is not good, or even it's not clean, your video is going to be rubbish. So there are various camera systems around. I'll be basically touching upon three of them. One is a mini camera which comes built into a Zeiss. That is what I'm using. Then there is a CCD camera with C-mount. We can even get some CCTV cameras, video cameras. And then the latest and probably future-proof, if we want to do, is a DSLR with adapters. So I will show you a video maybe at the end of these three or four more slides, and I'll show you all these three different kinds of video systems. So another thing which I would like to emphasize is a video overlay device, which I'm using, and I've been using it for many years, and this has been a great help. I've not seen many people actually using this, but I think this has got a great importance. If you add this to your recordings, it doubles or quadruples the value of that. And I'll briefly show you a 1-minute video on this as well. And then besides that, the other things we need is like a video capture card. Video capture devices are actually just devices which convert the analog signals from the camera to digital signals, so that those digital signals can be recorded onto hard drives or pen drives or onto your computers, so you can manage those videos. So these are just that. So some of them are just converters. They only capture the videos and they transfer it to your computer. And there are others which actually they record them also. And the ones which record them, in those cases, you don't need a PC or a Mac near your surgical setup. Then, of course, you need hard disks or pen drives where you want to store your videos. And of course, computers and PCs either to record the videos or later on to edit videos. So once you have recorded the videos, we need to archive them. That means you need to save them. And the real suggested method is to store them at two places. One is at the site and the other is off-site. Just in case if something goes wrong, like a fire or something, you don't lose both your copies. So that is the way actually to store your videos. Then comes a time when you need to edit those videos so that you can present them on meetings or teachings or wherever. So there are many programs which are video editing software available for different platforms like Windows, Mac OS, Linux. You get free ones and also you get paid ones and professional ones. My usual go-to video software is Final Cut Pro, which is actually a professional paid software. But for usual videos, I use iMovie, which comes with Mac and it's free of cost. And it's pretty good for most of the work that we as surgeons need to do. For Linux also, they have DaVinci, which I think Dr. Bond will be touching on. So these are the software which are easily available. And they can, basically all of them work on similar principles. If you know one, it's not very difficult to use a different one. So I'll be showing you a small little video which is on movies, which will be editing on iMovie for Mac OS because I use Mac. So these are my first few slides. And Benjamin, maybe you can switch on the video for the one which is called recording. Okay.
On.
Hello, today I shall be showing you three different. If you want, you can have the voiceover, or I can do it myself.
Okay. On. I think Dr. Dennis needs to make me co-host again.
The video you started was the correct one, actually.
Yeah. Okay. Need to share first one. Oh, because Dr. Dennis need to make me co-host again. Yeah. All right. Okay. Okay.
Modes of video recording. The first one is Zeiss Mini SD camera.
Okay.
Can't see the video, Benjamin.
Can you see the video? Cannot?
No, I can't.
Can't see.
I can see the
Can
video.
others?
Yeah, I can see the video quite well.
Maybe then in that case, because I can't see the video.
Oh, can't see the video.
Oh, then maybe you.
You on the maybe voiceover?
Okay, on.
Because when the voiceover is there, I'll know what's happening. I can put my comment in. Hello, today I shall be showing you three different modes of video recording. The first one is Zeiss Mini SD camera. Here you will see that this is my setup where I'm using a Zeiss OPMI FR Pro microscope, which has got a built-in mini video camera. This is quite a small camera actually, And the focusing also can be controlled from here itself. From here, the cable goes into the analog to digital capture device, from where it goes to my Alcon high definition overlay system, which allows me to see my Centurion FACO settings on my monitor as well as on the video. From here it goes into the Easy Recorder 130 through an HDMI cable, and then that is connected to a hard disk. So all recordings go into the hard disk, and that Easy Recorder is connected to the monitor through HDMI again. This is the second system, which is CCD camera through the C mount. This is a Leica microscope, and this has got a beam splitter, which has got two openings on either side. On one side you can use DSLR or any other camera. On the other side, in this case, there is an adapter on top of which a camera has been mounted. This is like a CCTV camera, and it has got an HDMI cable which can go directly into a recording device or directly to a display unit. So this HDMI cable should be a very good quality cable, so that you can get a good quality recording or display on your monitor. It is supplied by a 12 volt current, and you can record directly onto the camera also through an SD card, which are quite cheap and readily available. So the advantage is that you can take your recording from the SD card directly onto your computer. So here the HDMI cable goes directly into its slot. The second one is a USB connector, which is connected to a mouse through this USB port, and the mouse actually can control the camera, and all those controls are visible on the monitor. So this is how it looks like on the monitor, and in this case the centering is being done, and the recording with this is also pretty good. The last one I'm showing you is a DSLR camera. Again, beam splitter is used, and this beam splitter is 80 by 20 ratio, 80% going to the surgeon and 20% going into the adapter and into the camera. So this is the adapter, and also you need another adapter for your camera, in this case a T2 adapter for a Sony E mount. So this is the setup, and this is the Sony A7S camera, and this is how the adapter goes into the beam splitter. In this case, the recording can be directly done on the camera as well as on an external recorder. This is connected to the computer, and the files are saved onto a hard disk, which is an external hard disk. So the output from this recorder actually goes into the HDMI of the 4K monitor, and this is the 4K video recording, which obviously would be the best recording, but also it's one of the most expensive setups, but the recording is really beautiful. Thank you. Okay, so can you hear me now?
Yep.
On this, I showed you Easy Recorder 130. This is the device which captures the video. On Lazada, actually, it costs I think 500, close to 500. I might be able to show you the. Can you see this? I checked it on Lazada, and it costs 545. This is the one I used. So it's not too expensive actually. And actually, I was going to try, and I tried the cheapest one. There are more expensive ones available, but I think this is good enough because one of the videos I'm going to show you is quite clear. So this costs just about 545. And this is another camera which can be used. This cost is about 1,072. This needs a C mount, and if you have a C mount adapter, this can be easily used on your microscope. Another one is this is the beam splitter, the Leica microscope's original beam splitter with the camera and capture card, everything. That cost is about 3,600 US dollars, which would be, I think 15,000 or so Malaysian ringgit. If my off my head, my calculation is correct, should be about 15,000 US. This is the original Leica microscope beam splitter with camera. And then Dr. Dennis the other day was saying some people would want to know what a 4K is and all those things. So basically, we are talking about resolution. 4K, of course, is one of the top ultra high definition, and normally we talk about resolutions in 640, 380, or something like that. But nowadays we talk about HD, which is 1080, and the pixels are like 1920. 1080 is the resolution. Those are the pixels. The horizontal pixels will be 1980, and the verticals one will be 1080. So higher the resolution, the clearer the picture. But that also means that your file is going to be very big. The high definition is okay, but 4K are huge files. One video recording can consume 3 to 4 gigabytes of memory on your hard disk. So these are these are actually quite intensive on storage. Next, I would like Benjamin. Could you please play my overlay video, which is 1 minute only?
Okay.
In this video, I want to show you what a wonderful thing a video overlay system is. At the moment, I'm doing the quadrant removals. This is the stage. You will see all the parameters on the screen. And here it shows that 62% of the torsional energy being used. This is intelligent phaco is on. This is gravity-based system, and then your foot pedal position and how much energy is being used. And all these parameters are in real time. Just imagine how useful all this information is when you are learning yourself or you are teaching others. You know, your irrigation, your aspiration rate, your vacuum, at what stage. If something goes wrong, you know what happened at what stage. And at the end is a big summary of all the statistics of surgery. This is just amazing. Thank you. I really sincerely think that this is a very good attachment, maybe a little expensive, but once you have it, there's nothing goes wrong with it. It will stay with you forever as long as you use the same machine. I think for Alcon Infinity and Alcon's Centurion, the same device works. And this is high definition and gives you very good results. And I think this is one of the best teaching aids that you can use in your surgical videos. Now I think we can, Benjamin, go on to the iMovie editing, if it is okay with Dennis, Dr. Dennis. When you open iMovies, click on the plus sign and then movie. And this is the layout that you will see. Most of the video editing programs have it like this. This is the import button. This is the preview window. And down here is the timeline, and the top left is where the library is. So to import your media, you just tap or click on import media, and you import whichever media that you want to from wherever you have it. And once you have selected your media, you click on import media, and that comes into your media pane. So the middle one is the video clip. You can move your mouse cursor over it, and this is called scrubbing, and this way you can quickly go through the whole of the clip. To bring in part of the clip that you require, you go through the video, and from the video you can actually press I for in and O for out. That will select the part of the clip that you want to bring into the timeline, and then after that you press E for end, and that brings that particular clip into the timeline. So you repeat the process with the whole clip, and you bring in whatever clips are required for your project. In this case, I'm actually looking at certain area which I think is unnecessary here. So I use Command B to clip, to split the clip here, and then go on to look for the place where I want to split the clip again, using Command and B, or I can use right click and split clip. So once I have decided which part of the clip is unnecessary, I select it and tap delete, and that part of the clip gets deleted. And you can also adjust the clips by dragging them in and out. So this is the part I have decided that it's not necessary for me, and I remove that part. This part looks good to me, and also this one. And I'm going through the third clip, and I think it's a bit too slow for the audience, and I would want to quicken this up, and I click on the speedometer icon at the top of the preview window, and then choose fast, and then that will quicken up the video. So once I'm happy with the speed at which this clip is going to show, now I'm looking at centering the video. You see this is off center. So to do that, I'm going to go onto the crop icon and click on it, and then cut to size, cut to fit. And I repeat this with the other clips to make sure that the most important part of the video is well centered. Once I am happy with it, I just press return. I do the same with the last clip. Press return again to cut to fit. Now the centering seems to be good and looks magnified. Now between the clips, I decide to put in some transitions so that there's not abrupt change from one clip to the other. There are many of them, but I don't suggest you go for fancy ones. I just go for dissolve, which is a very subtle transition and is not distracting to the audience. Then you decide to mute the audio on the clip, which I just did by dragging the sound line down. I want to put some titles, but I would rather use a background on which I will put the titles. That looks good. You can put it on the video clip itself as also, but I like to do this on a background, and that looks much better actually. So you tap on or click on the titles, and there are plenty of them. Choose whichever fancies you. You drag and drop it over the background, select it, and then change the title to whatever is appropriate. And then you choose another title for the other end of the video. I suggest we should keep it symmetrical or similar. Here again, change the text to thank you here in this case. So now the titles are done, the transitions are done. Now it's the time to have voiceover. We click on the microphone button on the lower left of the preview window, and then we tap the record button and record the voiceover, which shows up as a green band as you see up there. Now you can actually add some music to it by dragging down the music. I will show you how to get music free of cost without worrying about copyright issues. So once the music is placed in its place, you lower the volume so that it doesn't drown your voiceover. You can also add your logo in here if you want. The process is called picture in picture, but I won't show it here for want of time. So this is how you edit a video in iMovie. Now I shall show you how to get free music from YouTube. You go to this address, or easier still is just open your Google and type in free YouTube music download and search. The first item on the search is the YouTube music library, which is the one we want. Once you tap on it, a lot of music clips will populate this page. Then you select the genre that you want. In this case, I selected cinematic one, and then your mood I selected as calm. And then it's good to select music which matches the length of your video. So if your video is 5 minutes, try to get a 5 minutes plus music. And then you click on the right arrow button on the left to listen to the music. And if you like it, you click on the download icon on the right. The music shall be downloaded to your download folder. and then you can use it wherever you need to without worrying about copyright issues. I hope this helps. You can use this music anywhere you want. Thank you very much. So I hope that video was a bit useful, slightly longish, but I wanted to go slow because a lot of people may not have used this kind of a program before. But it's quite simple actually. Once you start using it, it's quite simple. And you use any program, most of them have the same principles, and it's not difficult to use. So I think that was that. And then we can maybe go on to the presentation, which I've got the slides for that. Should I go ahead, Dr. Dennis? You are
yes,
muted.
please, you go ahead, please. Yep.
Okay. So I'll keep this short, quite short. So you must keep in mind that the people who have come to watch your webinar or whatever, they have their time is very precious, and don't waste their time. The same thing. The one thing which I don't like at all, usually in presentations, is white screen. A lot of people use it for various reasons, like putting up text and all that, like in this case, but it is so blinding, especially if you're in a dark room, in a hall where somebody is presenting. This white screen can be quite, make you photophobic, and it's not kind on the eyes, especially if you have to sit through the presentation for a long time. So I don't like white screens. I either use darker ones or even black, depending upon what my requirements are. Like in this case, I find this blue quite soothing to the eye. So that is one thing. So there should be no distractions at all. Like I mentioned the transitions when we were doing the iMovies editing. Transitions here also can be very distracting. Just use very simple one if you really want to use. Otherwise, what we call hard cut is also quite all right. If you want to use, I use just subtle dissolve kind of a transition. Otherwise, I try not to use. So your video must have a message. It shouldn't just say phacoemulsification. No. What are you trying to show? Your whole video must have a message, like how to prevent dropped nucleus. Something useful for the person. Phacoemulsification is very vague. So unless you are showing it to very beginners in phacoemulsification as a title is, to me, no good. It has to make sense and keep your audience interested. Yeah, this is what I'm going to learn today. It won't be a wasted time. Otherwise, they can just walk out. So our videos must deliver a message. Again, the video should be very clear. It should be very sharp. It should be very centered, so that the person who is watching it knows what the recorder is trying to show you. Then be generous in editing your videos. Cut, whatever is not necessary, just cut it. If your time allotted to you is 3 minutes, I've seen a lot of people either going over 3 minutes or trying to make it 3 minutes, 59 seconds. If I have given my message, I would rather stop at 2 minutes, because that is what my message was. Don't go overboard. People, appreciate their time not being wasted. So as I said, make it short, like this word short. Make your videos short. They shouldn't be long. They should have a message. And then once you have done your video, you must summarize what you have actually shown all of them, including you should actually add the patient's, what kind of vision the patient had, pre-op and all those things. If you add them, that adds interest to the videos. So if I want to summarize, it was like clear, attractive title, clear, sharp, well-centered video. It should have, the video should be relevant to your title and your topic. It should add value to the audience. It should be as short as possible. You deliver a message, give it to them, shut up, get out. That should be the thing. And we must value people's time. We should start things on time, finish them on time, and then also thank people for their time. So I think I'm going to thank everyone who is watching this for their time. And Dr. Bond is going to add on to whatever little I said. He's going to expand on it. I'm sure he's going to do a great job. Over to you, Dr. Dennis.
Thank you very much, Sarjbit. That was a very nice presentation. Without further ado, I would like to invite Dr. James Bond to present his exciting movie.
Thank you, Dr. Dennis. Thank you, Dr. Sarjbit. That was a great talk. I will get my slides ready. Okay.
For some reason, I'm not getting the video feed. It's okay. You can carry on. Yeah, it should be all right.
Okay. So I will be talking about the. Actually, it's almost the same like Dr. Sarjbit, but just a slight difference here. Okay, I have no potential interest in all of the things that I use here. I don't own any of the Apple or Android shares here, okay? So let's go on. So recording of video of surgery is, like Dr. Sarjbit said, is very important. It's for training of junior doctors. For your info, in a place in Selayang, the Cataract Center, the doctors who does that actually take videos of their surgery, and they get evaluated by a senior surgeon every day actually. So this is to train the junior doctors for research purpose as well. For auditing, even the best of surgeon, they'll get into trouble at some time. Looking back at your own videos, that helps. That's how to improve yourself as well. That's how I improve myself. You also do it for ethical and legal issues and to show off new ideas. If you have a new surgical skill or a new surgical technique that you want to show it off, you have to have a new video to show it off, right? So that's why you need to record your own videos. So how are videos taken? Well, Dr. Sarjbit is talking about all the conventional ones. So what I have is the modifications and the innovations type here. I will still briefly mention on the conventional ones and what are the difference in it. Recording videos of surgery is not very common, not only in Malaysia, like what Dr. Sarjbit says, it's all over the world now. People don't really record their surgery. Why? It's because they do not have the instrument to do it. They do not have the gadgets to do it. There's lack of funds doing it. Why? It doesn't really generate income. And it's also quite troublesome for the surgeon. You need to be doing this all the time. And it is not important in the management of the patient itself. That's why people don't really spend money on this thing. And also there's lack of knowledge in how to do this whole thing. And hence no one is doing it. So the difference between the conventional and innovative type is that the conventional one is very expensive. It's to set it up, just a basic one, it's at least about 30,000 to 300,000. And compared to the innovative one, the cheaper one will be just 200. Up to the point where I put it at 10,000, that's including your own phone that you're going to buy, I mean, a new phone that you're going to buy. And for the conventional one, you may need to replace your current setting. But the innovative type, it can be done in any setting in a way. And it's also quite easy to do for the conventional type. Yes, the innovative type is slightly complicated, but once you know how to set it up, it's quite fast. For archiving wise, the conventional type, basically it's just recording and putting in all your data, but the innovative type, it's a bit more troublesome when you want to find your data again for the day, if you don't do it every day. So I think Dr. Sarjbit already talked about this 4K recording, what is all these things. So I just want to summarize a bit that the 8K videos are not really available for any recording yet. And it just came out like last year for 8K TV. There's nothing that actually use 8K nowadays. Not even Netflix or what. So only the 4Ks are actually available. These are actually very, very good, and it's good enough for anything. You don't really need that. And all this NTSC PLL thing is actually the analog types. So for the conventional type of recording, it's when your clinic is actually set up during the early 90s or early 2000s. So what you get is actually, the whole thing is actually from the microscope. There will be a beam splitter. So this beam splitter will actually split your light into this teaching piece, and the other one will be from the CCD or this camera. There's two types of the few types of recording system that you can use, which is the analog and the digital type. The analog type will be the real conventional one, which only gives you a VCR recording or a DVD recording, and it goes to your TV, and you have to archive it manually. I mean, who owns a VCR recorder still, right? But this is what we have usually in the current hospitals. So the digital one will be, you have a beam splitter as well, and it goes to a CCD, a digital output. The digital ones are what Dr. Sarjbit showed just now. It goes to a HDMI port, and it goes to a TV or a recorder that you have. Recorder would be a digital recorder. It goes straight into a USB or hard disk or a SD card. Or you can have the other type where the CCD goes straight into your inbuilt microscope, your Zeiss microscope or your Leica microscope would have one. If you have a Callisto or a new Varion, you can actually use it to record it as well. And that comes with all your toric markings and all. And it goes straight to the TV, and then you can archive it from the digital system itself. So beam splitters does matter. In the early days, actually, all the beam splitters are usually 50-50. So 50 goes to the surgeon and 50 goes to your teaching ones. But if you see here, this is 80-20. It gives more to the surgeon and gives less to the CCD or the teaching piece. This is because the later recording system, they need only less light compared to the earlier ones. So that's why they have 80-20 now. And most of the digital ones are now 80-20, as you can see here. If you look at your own beam splitter, you will notice that. Cables, basically these are the analog cable, these are the digital cables. Does digital cables, the price, does it matter? To me, it doesn't really matter. I've used a very expensive one, I use a cheap one. It's actually quite similar. So you don't really have to spend too much money on the cables. So the modification and the innovation type, I'll first talk about this. Basically, this guy, his name is PewDiePie. What he does is actually, he's a YouTuber who reviews on games. He records his own videos of him playing games. And he used a screen capture device, which is what Dr. Sarjbit showed just now. I actually use both this and this one, which I got from Shopee or Lazada. It doesn't cost more than 200 actually. It's about 200 to 230. That is the range. Both is equally good. What it does is that imagine you have your recording system, the digital CCD. It goes straight into this recording device, and from this recording device, it goes straight to a TV. And you just put in a hard disk. There will be just one button here. You just click on this button, it will record. It will start the recording. You click it another time, it will stop the record. And it will be in a MP4 or AVI format. So this is the one that I shared just now. Basically, you still need your beam splitter. You need your digital CCD. And it goes to your screen capture device, which is this. And this goes to, as in this device, it has a USB plug here. And this will connect to a TV. I'm just going to show a video here. This is actually Isaac setting. This is a microscope, and this is a digital CCD, which is connected to a power, and it has a HDMI cable there as well. So just show you here. And it goes, this thing is actually attached to the screen capture device, which I hide it behind the microscope. And I just plug in my own USB here. You just have to press this record button right here to start it. And if you want to stop it, you just click it another time. This is a sample of the video using this device. It's not as good as the 4K videos. This is 1080 recording, but I think it's acceptable. It's already a HD sort of recording. Okay, you can see your red reflex. You can see the anterior capsule quite well. Yeah, so I'm just going to skip this. This is a sample of the Callisto, sample of the Callisto video. Of course, it's a 4K recording. It's very good. It has all the toric markings there. You can record it and take it out whenever you want. So this is the other innovative idea which I had. So what happened is I usually watch a lot of movies on my handphones, and previously I would connect it to a TV using a wire. And nowadays you can use an Apple TV, a Google Chromecast, EasyCast, and now even you can get a direct TV mirroring with your smart TV. So what it does is that it is all wirelessly transmitted to the TV. You don't need any wire anymore. So I had the idea of doing this with this for surgery, and it also records your surgery. What is good about this system is that if you're recording in the OT, you can still wirelessly transmit everything that you have here to a lecture hall somewhere else, and there's no delay in it, and you're recording this as well. So this is actually based on a DIY slit lamp adapter that I made a long time ago. This was probably in 2012 or so. The whole system now it has like a slit lamp, a smart mode telescope, and also a surgical microscope, which you can all transmit it wirelessly through a projector to a monitor or to a smart TV. I'm just going to show this new system that is available. If you have a smart TV, you can actually do this. I put this in my clinic. So we have an iPhone here. I just put on screen mirroring, and it goes straight to the TV. And you can actually watch all your whatever surgeries that I use my iPhone to record. So as you can see, the video quality is quite good. It's good enough for any presentation that you need. So I'm just going to skip this. This is basically the first time that I tested. I compare it with the analog and the iPhone 5. It's just iPhone 5. The video quality is already quite good. There's actually two systems here. One is a surgical microscope system, and the other one is a is using a telescope. I'll explain all this later. To set this up, this is the setting of it. You have a surgeon operating using the main microscope, and the assistant microscope, I just attach it to with a phone, and this is recording as well. So this is the attachment. This is the analog recording, and this is the TV that is wirelessly being transmitted with an easy cast and is recording as well. This is how I connect the system. Previously, I used a power bank to actually mount, because it will last the whole day. I need it to last until about 3-4 p.m. and I'm doing it I don't really stop in between time. So I mount it on top of the microscope with just a tape, and I have to change the casing of my phone. This is a Note 5 phone, which is quite an old phone, and I attach it to the microscope and just attach the power bank to it as well, so that this thing lasts the whole day. You do have to adjust the camera once you actually put this attachment in. And basically, if you need it to be transmitted to a TV, you just get this easy cast. It's basically just like a USB thumb drive. Attach it to your TV if you don't have a smart TV. So this is another comparison between the smartphone and the screen recording using the analog system. So non-microscope related surgery, I use a telescope, which you can buy off Lazada or Shopee again, and then a smartphone clamp. I clamp it on a IV drip. So what it does is that it helps you to take videos of surgery using loops where you don't need microscope, but you want to be out of the clean zone, you see. So screen surgery and blepharoplasty will be good for this. How I set this up, you get your telescope, attach it to your phone. Okay. Just clamp this to the IV drip. And basically just get your phone and put it on. And of course, you need to adjust what kind of view that you want and all. This is just a sample of how it's being used. Yeah, it's out of the clean zone actually. So because you wouldn't want to touch the phone when you're doing surgery, because it moves the camera, your whole system moves. So I use a mouse to actually attach it to your phone as well. You can use a Bluetooth mouse or you can use a wired mouse, it's your wish. But it helps in actually starting the record and stopping the records or pausing it. So doing this whole thing will actually give you a good quality video, and you can actually record the video. It's very portable, it's wireless, it's very versatile. And it's low cost. You can share your videos as well on YouTube and so on. It's versatile as well as, I think you can also use it in like general surgery, orthopedics, or all the other subspecialties. You can also use it in VR surgeries, I think, but there are certain things that you need to understand and how to actually attach all these things in a different way when you're doing VR surgery. So the process of capturing the video, you see, I actually gave this attachment to a few doctors, but in the end, they don't really know how to do it because they don't know how to mount it, don't know how to focus it and the lightings of it. A lot of people ask me as well whether there's any difference between Android phones and iPhones. There is a big difference to this. I would say I would still use the iPhone. I am mainly using it just for work actually. iPhone is very expensive comparatively to Android. There's a big range of phones that has all this. I actually have an iPhone X and Huawei P30 Pro. Huawei P30 Pro is actually very well known for its pictures, crisp quality and all, but video, it's not good. Okay, I'll explain why. It's because of the focusing. In iPhones, it's actually very stable, it's very reliable, and when you point on something, it's a true point area of focusing. But for Android phones, where you are focusing, although you have already locked the autofocus and the lights, it keeps moving still. The color will change. It's not stable. So for iPhone to retrieve the video, I think it's slightly more difficult because it's you to transfer it to a computer, you need cables and all those. You want to go into cloud, it takes some amount of money. For Android, I think it's still easier to do it. To make a proper focus, how you mount your what do you call this, your phone as well, is actually very important. So if you actually mount it in the horizontal way, your video will be horizontal. If you do it in a vertical way, your video will be vertical. And you don't want your videos to be mounted vertical. Okay, so to make a proper focus on, once you have get a good attachment, you need to click on your, I would say to put your at the limbal area where the blood vessels are or your iris are, and focus on that area. Even for the conventional ones, I think it's similar. You need to get your blood vessels focused and all. Train your nurse to do it because you're already scrubbed up. And once you have clicked on it, you have to wait until there's autofocus and auto exposure lock, or AEAF locked, as you can see here and also here. To set up the camera, basically I have this new attachment, not really new. I prefer this design where I don't really need to take out my phone casing. I just slot it in and I just slot it out. It's that easy. It's better than clamps and all. And how I put in the attachment is you have to put it in the horizontal way. And you just slot it in. Once you're in, you push it all in, you will see this very clear. So I just purposely made it that there is an area of eclipse there. You have to turn your camera in so that it's all clear in all the sides. And remember to change it to video mode. I only use the 720p mode actually. I don't really use a 4K or 1080 kind of video because of archiving. You take a lot of space. So once you have all this, you should be fine already. This is the difference here on the right here. It's actually the vertical and the horizontal setting. So I just want to show you the color here as well. The P30 Pro the color is not natural. It's a beautify kind of thing. So I would still think that the iPhone, even the iPhone 5 is actually better for video in that sense. Yeah. So this should show how you're going to do it. So once you have a place of interest, you do this AEAF lock. And you can zoom in or zoom out if is needed, or you can use the knob at your microscope to actually adjust this zooming in and zooming out thing. This is another video to show basically learning of cataract surgery. This is for junior doctors. If you actually watch the recent Dr. Aikamat's video, he actually showed how he actually do a POV, a point of view sort of surgery, is to teach you junior doctors how to actually hold your instrument. I think this is a very important thing, because if we take a step back and look at how we actually hold our instrument, that is actually quite interesting. And I see most of the time the trainees are actually holding their instruments wrongly. That's why they can't really do the perform the surgery in a good way. So to me, I would recommend maybe someone, this is actually taken by a nurse who is just next to me. Basically, you just need a nurse with a stable hand. You just take a video of how this surgery is done. And I put it side by side so that to let the young surgeons know that what is actually happening. So thank you. I will actually go on with the second lecture. Okay. Is everything okay, Dr. Dennis? Can I go on?
Yes, carry on.
All right, I'll go on. Actually, the video editing is almost the same as Dr. Sarjbit, but I put it in a way that we have this pre-production part here. We all set up and we produce the video, and we do need to edit our video to show it to the world, right? This is how the normal film production is actually. So the importance of video editing is that there is time limit in each of the conference and the webinars. You need to tell a good story and a perfect flow to to this. And you need to be clear on what is actually going on in the video, what kind of story you're trying to tell, and reduce the redundant clips. You don't want to waste people's time, like what Dr. Sarjbit says, and you want to highlight area of interest and also get a good color and contrast to make things clear. My go-to video editing program is still the iMovie. It is the easiest to use. It's free if you have a Mac. It's very versatile and a powerful program. But I do understand that a lot of people don't really have a Mac. They ask for Windows 1. Since Dr. Sarjbit already talked about iMovie, I won't talk about it. Your options will be Filmora 9 and also DaVinci Resolve. So now, Filmora 9, I would say it's a ripoff from iMovie. It's the same. It's very easy to use. If you're using the free version, there's a watermark at the bottom of it. I will show you how is it like later. DaVinci Resolve is also free. You can upgrade to a full version, but look, I don't think you need to upgrade the full version. We are not professional filmmakers. We are surgeons. We need to get things done quick, and that's it. Okay. The free version has no watermark as well. The problem with this is it's a bit harder to use compared to the conventional ones. You need to learn something about this before you can actually know how to use it. For me, it's just a few steps of doing it. I can edit a video quite fast. It's really like a 10 minutes thing for me sometimes. So for iMovie though, but for other things, it's a bit harder. I will talk based on the Filmora 9, and I advise to actually try it out with this program before you purchase it, because it's actually very easy to use. It's actually the same as the iMovie. What you need to do is just the video that you have, that you want to, you just drag it into this area down here. Yeah. And what you have is a video already in here. Okay. And what you need to do is, the next thing I would do always is remove the audio, because I use the iPhone and all to record, right? Whatever I say to my nurse is there. You just right click on the video and detach the audio. I will show you again. Right click, detach audio. You will get an audio here, and just click on it and delete the audio. That is the first thing I do always. The second thing to do is to, because this area of recording is very hard to maneuver, so I would zoom into the timeline that you want. Just to show you, it's right down here. You just zoom in and you will get like a area of zooming in the video itself within the timeline. Okay. Next is splitting the video and deleting and connecting it. This is basically the most important part of the whole video editing. you select the intended video that you want, the area that you're interested in. Like here, let's say that I want to show this area. I cut, basically right click at where you want to, click split, and that's it. So right here, click split, you will split the video into two, okay? And you go to another area of interest, right click, split it into two again, and you delete wherever you don't want to. You haven't deleted it yet, okay? So this area is what you don't want, you just delete it. I'll play the whole video again and show you. So you have cut, and you straight away cut here. Basically, it's a redundant area of video that you don't want. To fast forward and the slow-mo, basically in an area where you are not really, you want to show, but it's not very important, you want to fast forward it. Or you want to slow-mo it if you want to show something important, right? Just right click, and it's already there. Sorry, I'll show you again. Right click, change, oh, it's here actually. Click slow, and 0.5 is actually a slow-mo kind of thing already. And if you want to fast forward, you click the same thing again. Yeah, and there is a fast forward here, however fast you want. I'm gonna skip this. Zooming in, basically this video is actually a video of a patient with zonular dialysis. I just want to highlight this area. So when I put in the VSS, actually the lens sort of come out. So what you do is just crop it. This is the cropping button. You want to just focus on area you want to show, which is here, and just click OK, and it will be focused on the area here. So just play. You will see that what you want to show is actually more important right here, right? And the whole process is shown very nice in this cropped area. Okay, so you may want to add text to it. Basically, just click on titles, choose whatever you want to have. There's a lot of designs here. Actually, it's more compared to the iMovie, and just drag it down here. And once you have it down here, you just click on what you want to write here. Like I write here, injecting viscoelastic. And you just play, and you get your text right here. To me, this is actually very easy to use. So I'll skip this. And to narrate is basically just a button down here. You just click on this button. Or here is all the free, all the music that you want to put in. I usually don't put in any music. Once you're putting some music, you want to tone down your volume a bit, because you want to be focused on what you are saying instead of the music itself. Even though you get free music, try not to get those with a voice, a background voice in it, someone singing and all. It's very distracting. And once you have clicked this, you can actually talk what you want, and it will be recorded. Export, it means that you want to just export this video into an MP4 or MP AVI method. Basically, it's just a click of button, and you can already get the video that you want. The problem with this program is that you need to purchase it in order to have the things removed. So this is actually what you get. It's actually quite a good video, but there is a big watermark down here. So if you want to purchase it, you do that. Anyway, this is the second one. This is completely free, the Vinci Resolve, but it's a bit harder to use. Same thing, you drag the movie down here. You want to remove the audio, but this is actually just to mute it. Okay, a simple click of muting it. Basically, essentially, it's all the same, but the way to do it, it's slightly different. To split the video is a bit confusing. You go to area of interest that you want. Instead of dragging it, you need to scroll your mouse here, and you have to again right click and split it. Another area of interest that you want to split, right click and click split. You see, it's dragging. It's a bit difficult with the mouse actually. And then basically what you need to do is right click on it again and click delete. Hold on, yeah. So to fast forward and slow-mo here is slightly more confusing as well. You right click and change speed, but you drag an area down here to 0.5 or 1.5. That is actually how they show that this is actually a fast or slow thing. To me, it's very confusing, so I don't really like to use this program actually. To zoom in is the same. It's basically cropping it. All the buttons are all right here. It will be zooming in another way. What you have to do is just drag, and that's it. There's no cutting and all. You basically really is zooming in. So it does its job, but to me it's difficult to use. And there's also a title that you can drag in. It's also similar that you drag in here, and you just click whatever title that you want to. I'm just gonna skip all this. Next is to narrate. It's the same, but it's very confusing in the sense that where you get your narrate is actually down here, and you have to click another button here and click record here. Then you get your recording. To show you the sample video, this is actually a sample video. It's as good, though it's free. Yeah. So it depends on what you want. You want easy, you get the Filmora 9, you pay a little amount of money. But if you want free, this is it. You need to try and use it. Thank you. Yeah, Dr. Dennis, I'm gonna pass it back to you.
Oh, you have done, huh?
Yeah, I'm done.
Okay, very good talk. A lot of creativity and innovation. So you haven't disappointed us. So I think we'll go to Q&A now, and also discussion. Let me see. Maybe somebody can let me see what speakers.
I think it's great. Well, thanks to both speakers, I must say, Sarjbit and Dr. Chan. It was a lot of learning from me. I think I've done a lot of videos, but there's always small points and tips that you can pick up. I think it's very good balance that you've achieved, Dennis, with this panel of speakers, because you've got the conventional parts all covered, and then you've got the bright ideas from innovation and innovative person like Dr. Chan. So I think it covers both aspects very well. So hopefully all the attendees can benefit.
Yes, I agree. Yeah, it's a good blend, different emphasis. Perhaps are there the questions that been asked? Any questions, or we go straight to maybe I'll ask Prof. Melin to present to talk on. Prof, are you there?
Yes, I am. Yeah. Can you all hear me?
Yeah, I'll share
Yes,
screen.
yes.
She's going to give some tips because she has organized a few videos and she has experience in
Just the
using.
one.
So I'll share screen.
Great presentations by Dr. Sarjbit and Dr. Chan was really, really good. I also learned so much. Fantastic.
Do you want to talk about
Sure.
evaluation of
Yeah.
video presentations by judges? What the judges are looking for, so that those people who are going to present to prepare their videos for the coming festival will know what areas to improve on and what are the right things to do. Yeah. Okay, over to you, Prof. Melin.
Thank you, Dr. Dennis. Gee, whoever's listening in, this is fantastic in terms of getting you to think about these items, which, well, judges most probably will be, looking at in the selection of prize videos. Yeah. Essentially, I want to credit the APVRS 2017 organizing committee. I got some inspiration from the criteria for judging, or criteria for excellence. Yeah. So I think actually Dr. Sarjbit mentioned something really nice in his talk about what constitutes a good video. And I think those points are reflected here. Very quickly, I'll just go through. There are three main points. The first one is the technical points on the video. Okay. And the second one is the technical points on the audio. And there's another final one on the educational value. So really, as Dr. Sarjbit said earlier, we really want to share something with the audience. Yeah. And so these points all really come out in the evaluation also. So let's look in detail at the sub-items. For the video itself, I think the overall quality or resolution is important. The clarity of the movements, yeah, how smooth they are, how clear they are. The appropriateness of the title, again, a meaningful, appropriate title for your video. Looking at your presentation layout, how you use the color, remember the tips given by the speaker, the designs, yeah, and how you choreograph, how you planned and organized it. Really, really like a video shoot, yeah. Next one is the technical points on the audio, yeah. So again, the overall quality of the audio, right? The clarity of your commentary, that it was easy to understand and clearly delivered, relevance and appropriateness of what you said, and the appropriateness of what you said for the surgery shown. The final one would be the educational value. How new or novel was the technique that you were presenting, and the overall educational value. And it's good to sum up with the learning points, and that constitutes 100 points. So this is from my limited experience and just sharing with everyone. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Prof.
Can I come in 1 second? Just, Dennis?
Yes, Dr. Sarjbit, please.
Yeah, as Prof. May said, actually I had the honor of being one of the judges for All India Ophthalmological Society surgical videos, and some of them are really, really innovative. So I also, as she was elaborating on the points that we have to look for, and that is where I learned actually that these are the criteria that we must follow to give marks to the videos. And they make so much of sense. Otherwise, people were coming out with videos which had no head or tail. And those are just wasting people's time. That's not, they don't get selected at all. Okay, so that's very important. Second thing, before I forget, Dr. Bond was talking about transfer of files from iPhone to other devices using cable and all that. But nowadays it has become very easy. If you have like a Mac Pro or something like that, or even an iPad, it's easy. You use AirDrop and you just don't need cables anymore. So you just AirDrop and it's so quick from one phone to the other it goes very quickly. Or from one phone to your Mac, it becomes
If you
quite
have a
easy to
Mac,
actually.
Dr. Sarjbit,
Yeah,
if you
of
have a
course, of
Mac.
course. Yeah, of course. No, because you're talking about iPhone, so I thought
Usually what
I'd,
people have
because
is an
I'm sure
iPhone
many people.
and it goes to a PC, you see, so that's a bit difficult.
And second thing I want to mention, it's off, what we are just talking about was, because this is a basic, like a very basic course we have tackled. But of course, we can get very complicated, and in the sense that you can have multiple cameras at multiple places, especially two cameras, one from the side view, and of course one from the one which is the surgeon's view through the microscope. Those two are very good because they show your intricate hand movements when you are doing surgery. Because sometimes I've seen some trainees who come and they say, you did this, but we don't know, we can't do it. But when they come to the theater and they watch, oh, you used your hand like this. So those two views are actually quite important. And if they can be done simultaneously, they
Really
are
agree with that.
quite good. Yeah, yeah. All right, okay, thanks.
Dr. Sarjbit, could I ask you a question?
Yeah, sure.
Based on, just following on with you having been a judge before, was there any other criteria you felt should be in our evaluation that perhaps was not in the list I presented? Or have
I
we
think the
more or
first
less covered
one,
it?
which you have more or less covered all of it. But the
Okay.
thing is, I feel, and you might be knowing Dr. Namrata Sharma, who is a great corneal surgeon from All India Institute of Medical Sciences. She was my co-judge, and another one. Those are great guys and superb guys. We were discussing about it, and the first thing came to mind is which video actually catches your attention. This is like a sixth sense kind of a thing. This is it. So when you get that awe moment or wow moment, that is a video which is actually good. Then you dissect it. Why did we have this moment? Then of course those technical things have already been given to you, to the judges, that you have to, base. This thing is not there, but for me this is very important. Once I feel, yeah, this is what I
A wow
wanted to see.
factor.
Yeah,
Mm.
yes, wow factor or X factor has to be there. Otherwise, all videos, most people are quite good at it. The ones who reach that kind of a level where only 10 videos have come out of maybe 10,000, most of them would be good. But I actually wait for that wow factor, which is going to give me a wow factor. I don't know, I may be right or wrong, I don't know, but this is how I've been doing it.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
And you just feel it, you can just feel it, that this is a good video.
Yeah, I think one the issue about taking recording visual is video is centration. I think, to me, there's always a bit of problem with centration because your surgeon's view is actually much wider, and your camera view is much smaller. So sometimes you don't realize that you are completely off-centered or very off-centered and I just want to ask the speakers and the panelists, how do you sort of make sure that your centration is good all the time?
Yeah, in my case, I make sure I know that when the eye is at this position in the field, then it is centered because you get used to it then. But initially, consciously, you have to bring your eye to that certain area, which actually will transfer to middle of the field on the. In my case, it is even more important because if it is the eye is off center. If I do the cropping, my overlay, all those numbers and all, they also will go if I crop it.
Yep.
So I have to make sure that during surgery, I must have the eye in a place which is centered. It may be off center for me. Initially, it's very disturbing. You're not used to operating like the eye is slightly lower in the lower quadrant, and you want to keep bringing it up, but then it goes off center on the video. So you have to consciously initially learn to put the eye in a place which will actually give the eye in the center on the recording. So you have to consciously do it for a few times and you get used to it actually. That's how I do it.
Can I make a comment?
Yeah, yes, Mangwai.
I think exactly what Sarjbit said. It's basically comes with practice. I think if you record your videos long enough, you know the area where that's going to look good on your video. So you consciously try to keep it there. Now, the problem comes in when you're trying to show techniques when you are doing complicated cases. So you're focused and then you're actually looking at where your things are going to be. You don't think about that. So what happens then again comes with practice. When you say, I want to show, then you look in your video and say, oh, no good, got to do it. Got to wait for another case to show a good one. So you try to make sure that you do it, and it just comes with practice.
Absolutely.
I think the other trick, of course, is to ensure that, because I don't use a smartphone. I have what Dr. Chan uses, Genbon, the digital CCD. So you make sure those are aligned, because I've had issues when sometimes when you attach it and maybe people knock the microscope, it goes off center and then you don't see that as well. So that has to be aligned as well. So the other way is ultimately when you got enough practice to alter your surgical technique or your hand movement such that you don't move the eye as much. I think that's the other thing. Yeah.
Yes.
You can start that training.
Sorry. What I do is I usually ask my nurse to help me. Please keep an eye on the monitor. If I'm off center, please remind me. But like Manwai say, when you are so engrossed in your surgery, and if you are doing something tricky, a bit difficult, you just forget, you just finish that maneuver, those steps, and then I'm off center, and you realize that it's maybe a bit too late,
Actually, there was a question.
It becomes worse.
There was a question.
It can become worse actually on the. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah. No, I'm just saying there was a question for Dr. Chan before we forget. I think there was one mention, I just replied, but I'm not sure whether he has any other innovations. There was a question from an attendee anonymously that if you do not have a beam splitter, what options do you have for recording videos? So I'm like, nothing, right?
Nothing, yeah.
Unless you learn how to operate by looking at your iPhone and casting onto the TV.
You can't. You need a beam splitter, no matter how you need a beam splitter.
So I thought the other way was maybe mainly you can elaborate because you've done heads-up surgery with Ingenuity. I suppose that's the other way if you don't have a beam splitter, right? I think the Ingenuity would.
But
that's a $1 million investment.
They demonstrated it at our center, and it was really nice for the trainees, And I had a go at it, and I loved it actually, to be able to take my eyes off that, the oculus. I don't know much about the technical thing behind it though. It doesn't have a beam splitter, am I right? Because it's going onto the screen and
it's coaxial.
Oh,
so
yes.
If you don't have a beam splitter, then you can record your video because you're not looking through the scope.
Yes. Oh, it would be lovely actually. Yeah.
The price is lovely as well.
The price, yeah. So all I can say is it was nice for teaching.
Genbon, you're a Zeiss user, so get them to put the Zeiss scope in there for you to use.
Yes, we'll try to.
There's another question here.
Yeah, we should look at the questions, yeah?
Yeah. Dr. Chan again, where can you get the attachment for your phone to the eyepiece?
Actually,
go to Mr. DIY.
Actually, I made it myself, but if you want to get it, you can get it online. It's just that those online, if it is good, is really expensive. I have seen the cheapest one is just 30 ringgit, but it does falls off quite frequently, and you have an expensive phone, you may not want that long. The more expensive ones is actually up to about 700 to 1,000 plus. I do not know whether you want to spend that amount of money. So I made it in a way that it doesn't need to be that expensive. That's why I do it like about, the cost of it actually is not much, but it's very difficult to get the raw materials.
Sure.
Yeah.
I tried it. I mean, I followed your video. You had your video. I followed the steps. I went to buy the sponge to cut and everything. So it can be done, but a little bit of effort.
Use duct tape.
Duct tape, you can use that as well. So basically, those that actually get from me, I actually go to their place and actually do it for them. But that was then. It is actually not easy. It has to be with one phone and with one microscope. So it's very precise kind of thing. You need to measure things properly and cut things properly. I actually drill the things. If you didn't know, I actually buy things to actually drill holes into the brackets and all those. It won't hurt your phone. It won't hurt the microscope, but it may hurt my fingers. Actually, I actually cut my fingers a few times. Yeah.
Oh my.
Yes.
I just want to ask the speakers and the
unique.
panelists. I've been I'm a novice. I've been using a Windows video editor to do some basic editing now. What do you think of the program? Anyone familiar with it? I don't think I can do cropping on it. I think
it's very limited lah.
Quite limited.
Is you can't do a lot of things with it. I tried it out. I think it just doesn't work. So in the end, I gave you just have to download another program and do it. Yeah,
is too basic for the kindergarten students.
The Filmora looks good. I mean, I look at the layout because I use iMovie. It looks so similar to iMovie. So
it is. It's exactly the same.
Yeah. So you just pull here, pull there. I think, the speakers like Sarjbit and Jambo has shown basically all the basic principles of using a video editing software. But I think nothing beats just playing around with it. As much as you get a new phone, you learn how to use it. You got to play around with it. Similarly with this software, I think it's trial and error, to be honest. But the basic principles have all been covered. So yeah.
How about Adobe Premiere?
Unless you use it, yeah. Adobe Premiere is one, it's paid, and secondly, it has a learning curve. Though I don't use Windows, I haven't used it. But Premiere, it's a very powerful program, no doubt about it. It's a professional program. But I think for beginners or those who don't have to do all that fancy stuff, you don't need Premiere. It's a bit too much for that. Yeah.
So far, I'm quite
simpler programs
using Premiere Pro.
Premiere
Because you are
basically.
a pro yourself. It is overkill. You are a pro, my dear.
Yes, but compared to Da Vinci, it's more pricey because you need to pay like every year. Yeah. Da Vinci is just a one-off payment. Yeah.
Yeah. But Filmora can also be one-off.
Yeah, actually, I find that I learn a lot when I'm actually looking through my unedited video and trying to edit it, and you actually see how you struggle different areas, and then you think, oh, I could have done better, and it is almost like doing a second surgery, a virtual experience. So it adds up to your experience, improve your skills. That's why I think video recording editing is a fantastic way to learn. I'm actually quite a late beginner. Just got into it a couple of years ago, but it's been fantastic, and it's made my it's created another new area of interest in my work. Actually, sometimes you've been practicing for many years, you get a bit stale, maybe not motivated, but you can. I think video recording has been fantastic for my surgical career in many ways. It's like make life much more interesting. I'm not sure about what your experience are, the speak. Yeah.
Well, I think
sometimes brings
kudos to Dennis to actually bring forth his passion to organize so many webinars and starting all.
I was about to say,
because obviously somebody has to drive the message. I think the speakers, Sarjbit and Jambon already mentioned right from the outstart the importance of self-audit. I think if anything, it's not about creating an award-winning video. It's about auditing yourself and improving yourself. I think you had a slide just now, Jambon. You said people are not interested because it doesn't generate income. It does not involve in management of patients. But indirectly, if you improve your skill set because you're reviewing your videos, you improve yourself, you improve your outcomes for your patients, that will generate
True.
income because patients
Very
will.
true.
Yeah,
And
totally agree.
involved in the
Different point of
management
view.
So
Yeah.
it's how you look at it.
You hit the nail on the head. I mean, it's a long-term thing, you know. I mean, really, at the end of the day, it's about quality of your work, quality of your surgery, and that will eventually translate into your patient's patient workload benefit for the patients. It's not a short-term direct gain, you know, that you see straight away. It's a long-term, I think it's something that is really worth it. Actually, the good thing about this pandemic is really video conferencing. I did not know much about video conferencing at all. And you know, living in Kuching, so far away from the rest of the world, from KL, I tell you, it's very difficult to organize things, you know. To get people to fly here, to get people to attend the speakers to come here, is very difficult. And you know,
And
in
here
the
we are.
beginning of the pandemic, after attending a few webinars and seminars, you know, I got this brainstorm suddenly. Why don't we do a video conferencing symposium?
It's a great
And
idea.
that's how it
Lovely.
started.
So great.
So at least there's one good thing out of this global pandemic.
Something good. Yes.
Yep.
Prof. May, I just
Yes,
think
that's
we might have met. I think we might have met in Hong Kong. There was a conference 5-6 years ago. Did you attend
Right.
that conference? Yeah, I think
Ah.
I met you there. I had
Oh,
a
right.
presentation.
Okay.
Because
I'm sorry.
I had a
My
presentation.
memory.
No, it's okay.
You're absent-minded, Professor.
No, that's a good thing.
Fast.
Because I was the first one, it seems, to present using an iPhone, because my topic was iPhonography of the anterior segment. So
Right.
iPhonography of the anterior
Okay.
segment.
Okay.
So
Wow. So we meet
that was,
again here on the screen. Yeah.
Yes.
Wow. We're sharing the screen now.
Because
Thank
I was
you.
thinking, where have I met her?
It's like somewhere, right? Somewhere we have met before.
Yes,
Can you
yes.
remember the conference again? I can't remember the
in
name,
Hong Kong,
but
it
it
was
was
one
in
of
Hong Kong.
international. Yeah, it was two
APA,
conferences
it wasn't
in
the
one.
APAO, no. Huh? Okay.
One was the International Glaucoma, and the other one was, I think, Asia Pacific or something. They were combined meeting.
Lovely. It's great.
Yep.
It's great. And you're still
I think-
doing this good work.
It was nice.
I think I have to summarize now. I think if there are no more questions, and if there's any things the speakers, any last comments from the speakers and the panelists. If not, I'll probably sum up. And any last.
I'll just say thank you to all of the panelists, and Dennis, especially to you. And out of just a small little talk, you asked me whether I would be interested in the webinar. That was so nice. Met Dr. Chan, Prof. May again, and of course, Benjamin and Dr. Lee. It's so nice. Next time I come, I would want to meet all of them personally. Probably I'll be coming in December, and hopefully by then the flights will be sorted out, and we can meet up again. Right? Thank you so much, Dennis.
Sounds good.
Thank you,
so
Dr.
much.
Dennis.
Yes, we really want to thank you, Dr. Dennis. This is brilliant. Yeah.
Welcome. I just want to thank the boss speakers, Dr. Sarjbit, for sharing your expertise, your tips and pearls with us. Dr. James Bond for his great innovation and creativity, and great input from Prof. May, Man Wai, and also Benjamin his help has been incredible. I mean, without his help and input and IT knowledge, I would not have been able to organize these meetings at all. So a big thank you to Benjamin. And also, I would like to thank all the attendees as well. So we do hope that this will stimulate an interest, and this will to explore, to improve recording, editing, and hopefully we will get very good videos for our festival at the end of the year. And I do hope to get some sponsors, and we will be giving prizes to the winners in the open section. So please, everybody, get on with your recording, and we would love to see some very great videos, hopefully during the festival. So stay safe and stay healthy. Take care, everybody. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thanks a lot, Sarjbit. Take care.
Bye.
Thank you. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Take care.
Bye.